What's up, guys? Anthony Monetti, Project My Life. Just got back from the gym a little while ago, and I cleaned the house because that's something Karen normally would do, but I figured I would do it. I had the energy, so why not do it, right? The real flex is cleaning for your lady. Gentlemen, pay attention. That's the real flex. Anyhow, I did some upper body today. I've been going to Gold's Gym, different gym outside of body, every Friday just to get my mind on something other than creating a business and work. It's been one of my, I think, distractions lately is being obsessed. I go all in. When I do something, I go all in. I'm an extremist. That pendulum swings one way or one way the other way, other direction. So now I'm trying to figure out somewhere in the middle where I can get my all things done and keep my sanity. And one of them is going to a different gym. Anyway, so I had a great session over there, and I figured I would chop up a little video talking about overcoming injuries, because I get one of my most viewed videos on my YouTube, which I'm getting back to uploading more content for you guys. Sorry for the delay. Should be apologizing to myself because I really enjoy creating content, but again, distractions. But anyway, stay focused. Anyway, one of the most popular videos is anytime I talk about bicep and the fact that I ruptured my bicep a couple years ago. If you can see that, see this angle, the lighting here. There's the scar. You see that? Yeah. So 2018, and I had little injuries along the way, throughout my 1991, throughout my, I don't know how many years is that, 30 years of weight training. I've had a few injuries, never surgery, except my testicles. I had something going on with my testicles, which is for a different story. That's not what I'm talking about right now. But other than that, I had groin pull, but never really had to go for surgery. It was always like a little bit of rehab and just giving myself a couple weeks off and doing, light work and just, obviously keeping my nutrition in check as far as eating the right things and staying away from inflammatory foods. But anyway, the only time I had to get surgery was for my bicep in 2018. So I haven't competed. I've been taking 4 to 5 year breaks in between competing and stepping on stage. Partly because of the business and how much the business takes and how obsessed I get with making sure that that's functional and healthy and making money, because that's how I earn a living. But obsessions, being so obsessed and so extreme, pulls me away from other things. Anyhow, 4 to 5 year breaks in between competing, and I planned on competing in 2018, but I was doing some dumb shit in gym. I can't even say I was lifting a ton of weight, curling or deadlifting or just doing something crazy. But I was pulling myself up on TRX straps, and I did what's called a skin the cat. If you know gymnastics, it's when you flip your legs up and back and you end up in kind of like this position. Pretty wild, and I never did it before in my life, so I did it one night, pulled myself up, whipped my legs around, and I was like, whoa, holy shit, I can do that. That's awesome. I don't know what came through me to decide to jump up there and do some shit like that. But I was like, whoa, this is great. And it was in the evening. Keep that in mind. So a couple days later, I was like, oh, this is cool, new trick. I did it at like 5:30 in the morning, pulled myself up, and as soon as I pulled my legs through, pop, pop, pop. No 3. Pop, pop, only 2 pops. And I heard it, but I didn't feel it. And I still had the strength to kind of pull my legs back through, and I stand up, and I was like, I just fucked up my bicep. I know it. I walked right over to the mirror, and it was literally starting to shrivel up, right? So there was no pain, because once those nerves are cut off, then there's nothing to give you the pain signal or the feeling of pain. So there was no pain, but I started to fold up or roll up into my shoulder. So I'm looking in the mirror, I'm going like this, and it's starting to wobble more on this side because it's not attached. So anyway, I knew I jacked it up. Called my doctor and I started the process. But I was actually going to California that day, later on that day, to judge the Muscle Mayhem, or the IMBF, Bob and Tina's show out in California. So I couldn't go for immediate kind of rehab or attention from a medical professional. So I called my chiropractor at the time, or my physical therapist, and he recommended going to see this doctor and so forth and so on. So I scheduled it and I planned it, and I got set up with the medical doctors. Jumped on a plane, went to California, and didn't do anything. So obviously I couldn't work out. So by the time I got back, it's like 2 weeks before I had my surgery. They were contemplating, the doctor going into it, Robin Gurman, was a really cool guy, by the way, was saying that if it was too coiled up, or if it shrunk too much, they would have to get some kind of animal tendon, attach it to it, pull it down to make that bicep a little bit longer to reach, where it's got to get screwed in down here, like literally screwed in. Anyway, I was lucky enough where he was able to pull it down and they didn't have to use any kind of other tendons. So after the surgery, I started the process of rehab. I started the process of strengthening it and doing all the things that were recommended, and also how I felt, right? So being part of the benefit of doing this for so long, like I've been doing, is knowing my body and knowing, what's a good pain, what's a good soreness, and knowing limits and pushing them, but also knowing when to pull back. And that's something that I can't even teach you how to do that, except give you cues and talk about my experience, because you have to go through that yourself to get better with this whole process. That can't be taught. That's just based upon experience. Anyway, so I knew what to do and how much to do it. And after a couple of weeks, the doctor says you can go to rehab, and I think it was like actually 4 to 6 weeks, in that range. I don't know exact time frame, but I was able to go to rehab. I started the rehab process. Very, very light weights, and I have some footage of that. If I'm ambitious, I'll throw some that footage in here. So the doctor, my surgeon, said, you could start doing some lower body after a couple days, or maybe like a week. You can start doing some lower body, whatever you think you can do lower body that's not going to affect, pretty much, movement of that elbow. And I was in the whole sling, and I had to hold it here in this position, the fixed position, so it can heal and it can start. But I didn't work out at all. I didn't even want to do cardio. I didn't even want to do anything. I just literally didn't do anything besides walk to work and train clients and then walk home. And I created some things on a computer. I actually started the seed of a clothing or apparel concept that I have, and I started doing that, like designing it on the computer, which was light work. But other than that, I didn't do anything in the gym, and loved it. Got a lot of rest, a lot of recovery, and I felt great. And it ended up being 16 weeks of me not weight training, aside from the little bit of rehab I was doing 2 or 3 times a week. Aside from that stuff, like very, very little stuff, and light weights, more stretching and more massage and more soft tissue massage and more, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but the physical therapist would actually do some movement with that arm without me doing it. So it was manual. Can't think of it right now. But anyway, other than that, it wasn't working out 16 weeks, and I actually enjoyed it. And for somebody who's been doing this for so long, taking that away, you would think that it would be like devastating, and I would like lose my shit and get angry and just be irritable, and I don't know, a multitude of different things could have happened taking something away that I'm basically addicted to. But I used it as a guilt-free permission slip to give myself a rest and recovery. It was the most magical time of my career so far, because it was just allowing my body to recover after so long of beating it up. It was a great recovery time. So basically why I started this video today is I get a lot of feedback from the video and a lot of questions, and I try to answer them all, and I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you yet. But the biggest message I can give you is just give yourself the time. You will get back in the game, and if you take your time with it, you'll get back even stronger, and you won't have to deal with it ever again. If you rush the process, if you do too much too soon, or if you don't pay attention to your nutrition and sleep and recovery, and if you're very eager to get back into it and you push too hard too quick, now you could cause either more issues, or that are acute, that are right away, you'll feel them and you'll do damage right then, or long term you're going to feel the the aftermath of that. So take your time, enjoy the process, rest, recover. What I would say is, monitor your nutrition is what I did, and I'll make another video. I don't want to make these videos too long, these little vlogs here, because of editing and timing and all that fun stuff, because I get sidetracked and I can just make this a clusterfuck of words right now, and I don't want to do that. I want to stay focused. So I'll make another video about my nutrition, but what I did do is I monitored that and I regulated my nutrition based upon my activity. I'll say I did a modified intermittent fasting, and I have my way of doing it, and it worked for me. I kept my body fat low, I kept my weight low, and when I got back in the game, my body was so super responsive to the food, and I actually ended up, coming out of it better than before I went into it. Because think about it, if you're having an injury, that's your body's telling you that, like, oh, something needs to get fixed, right? It's your body's natural, alarm system. Just like in a car, you have the red line on a tachometer, or you have sensors that go off when it lets you know that something's not operating correctly. Well, your computer system and your body is giving that information when you have an injury, I feel. So take that opportunity to recover and listen to it, and you'll be able to navigate through better. That's what I can offer with that. That being said, make sure your nutrition complements it. Don't be, if you have an injury, a lot of times people will just be like, oh shit, I can't work out, so maybe you're a little depressed, and maybe you're more likely, excuse me twice, you're more likely to grab the shit food or have an extra drink, or feed that kind of sympathy for yourself, and that's a vicious cycle. You see that all the time with food and alcohol and sugary foods, and how it just spirals, not in the direction of growth, quite the opposite, in fact. So that being said, that's a wrap. I think I covered a lot of things in here. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll continue to do these like 10-15 minute vlogs. I'm going to try to do that every day, or at least 3 times a week. Let me be realistic. 3 times a week, and if I can get better at it and I can be more efficient with it, I'll do more. But let me know your questions, and again, I'm trying to build my channel back up, guys. It's been my first YouTube video was 2007. 2007. What were you doing in 2007? I was just getting off of MTV, ready to take on the world with content creation, but I wasn't consistent. So I'm getting back in the game. I have a lot to say. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you're thinking about. And this is Project My Life. Believe in yourself, trust the process, practice patience.